Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Paul and All. As always, I'm your host, Paul, and I am joined by a returning guest because I talked about how, I didn't think anybody could live up, so I figured let's raise the bar back by bringing back the same guest. Reintroduce yourself.
Hi everyone, I'm Megan and I'm sorry.
She's back because honestly, I talk to Megan pretty much every day, and we had been talking because we need to record another Lost with Friends very soon. And I was messaging with her, and I was like, "You would not believe what happened to me today." And as I was sending the message, this was yesterday. We're recording this on Tuesday of the same week that it'll be posted. So yesterday, Monday, I messaged her, and I'm like, "You will not believe what happened to me today." And she's like, "What?" And I went, "No, you know what? Wait, let's save it because it'll make for a great podcast episode."
And
So,
that, my friend, is how you get people on the show.
to be fair, with family and a few other friends and everything, I've been telling them, I'm like, man, you would not believe the day that I had. And they're like, "Really?" I'm like, "Yeah, but to find out, you're gonna have to listen to my podcast later this week."
You must come on the podcast. No,
Yeah,
you can't make them listen. You have to like make them come on the podcast.
but
And
that's what I
that is
did for
how
you.
exactly it worked. I'm here.
Okay, so because we have to catch up on what's been going on with you, because anyone who knows me from face, I think I put it on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, the Vampire Diaries watching that you're doing, so we have to catch up on that in a little bit as well. But okay, let me preface this. This is me gonna tell the story of my day yesterday. I work in a grocery store. Okay, I don't like. It's not like I save lives or anything like that. I'm not a farmer. I don't put the food directly on. I don't like grow the food or anything like that. Like I'm a middleman. I just put out avocados and stuff. Like I don't. It's not anything major. Megan's looking at me. For
Actually,
those of you who don't know, right now we are video chatting this, and I'm just going to take the audio from it probably later. But she's looking at me going, "Paul, I really want to say something, but we have this thing whenever we record these or Paul and All where I tend to talk over her a lot because I just tend to talk a lot." And she keeps giving me this look right now where she's like, "Paul, I really want to say something, so you need to shut up." So here I go. I'm going to shut up now.
first of all, I interrupted you just now, and during the intro, you had to re-record that. So suck it, Paul. Also,
Wow.
yeah, we're getting real here on Paul and All today. I argue that in my profession, we consider at my company food is medicine. So you are selling medicine to people, you just don't know it,
Yeah, but you're like a
especially in the
hippie and
vegetable
stuff,
section.
so I don't really take that.
I'm not a hippie.
Yeah, you are.
I am. Damn it. No, but it really is. Like, it is proven in the business that I work at that you can heal yourself. Oh my God, here it goes. I drank the Kool-Aid. It's bad. But you can, in fact, heal yourself with food. Sorry. Not sorry.
Okay.
I say this with a sinus infection.
As you're drinking tea and you're like, "It's tea, it's good for you," and blah, blah. I'm drinking tea as well. It's my sweet tea out of a Disney's Caribbean, not sure, beach resort from the one time I've ever been to Disney World, because I am so lazy that I have a week's worth of dishes sitting in the room behind me. And my mother was here and flipped out on me because I haven't done dishes in about a week, maybe a week and a half, whatever. And I'm like, I've been at work. That's the other part of my story is yesterday was my 6th day in a row at work. I'd been working all nights, and then I had to work yesterday morning. It wasn't early in the morning, it was like 9. So I had about 12 hours in between the shifts, but it's still closing and then being there to almost help open the next day. Not so great. Um, we were preparing because probably by the time I put this up, it'll have happened. But as of the recording, we have a model store coming up in about 2 days. So a lot of the big bosses are coming in from New York. Like the third or fourth guy in charge of the entire company is coming. Like, so you know what I mean. We're trying to make everything look nice, like real nice.
Noise.
And So, um, that's what a lot of yesterday was. We had to pretty much rebuild certain displays, and that was actually one of the things that my boss had said to me was like, we spent about 2 hours tearing down the loose apple table and the loose citrus and pears, and by the time we put it all back up, it looked like nothing was different at all. And that's the problem is it was all like we put new trays under everything, new, like it was all new and whatever. But that's the problem with a job like that is you spend like 2 hours doing it and nothing looks any different. And Megan is getting really good at her skills because what you don't know is just right there, she coughed and muted herself. So that means less editing for me. So
I
thank you,
should
Megan.
be creating more work for you, but I'm trying really hard not to. I'm
um,
deviating from the story enough that there's more work for you, but they're
yeah,
gonna have to deal with that. Also, I'm really sorry, everybody. I have a sinus infection. I sound really gross, and I'm sorry.
they don't care. They know that you're either they listen to this for the hilarious content that we generated for the Animal Farts and Gilmore Girls episode part 1 and 2.
Animal fart.
Yes. And even I have friends, by the way. I have friends who don't like Gilmore Girls or anything, but they've said that they're like, I want what could you possibly talk about animal farts? And I'm just like, you got to listen to this thing. It's funny. Also, follow up. I've told you this, Megan, but I'm telling the listeners. I did receive a text from my father a few days after that went up. It was, I believe, the text was "aha" or something. The exact text, and I'm like, I completely forgot. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, I listened to your show, and you said that I'd say "aha" or something. And then we started making jokes about Gilmore Girls, and then I made one rather inappropriate joke about the father from Seventh Heaven, but I'll just leave it at that.
So
Um,
we should make it a running series that every week we have to make your dad say something.
I mean, I don't know what to get him to say. He'll probably message me now going, what am I supposed to say every week? Like,
That's it. That's the next one.
all right.
Done.
There you
Done.
go, Dad. There's your cue. Message me that. Um, so yeah, so I was sixth day in a row at work and whatever, and so we had to build new displays. And we had to build a bump out section thing for the bananas because that's what we're supposed to have.
Bump
And
out. Sounds
yeah,
like some new dance that all the kids are doing.
the bump out. I
Everyone's
guess
doing
it does because
bump
it
out.
sounds ridiculous to me. So I guess it does sound like a new dance
Well,
because
so
we're
like,
getting old.
no, on that note, I feel so old. I don't know what this whole cash me outside thing is, but
You haven't
I
seen the
don't
clip.
no, and I don't want to. I want to stay. I want to stay this way.
Okay.
I want this feeling because even though it makes me feel really, really old, I've seen her face everywhere, and I just I don't want to give her more attention than she needs.
They made that into a Bitmoji, so your Bitmoji can be looking like "Cash me outside." How about that? You know, I thought that was hilarious.
I feel so old. It's
um,
okay. The hairs
so
that I pull out of my
apparently,
jawline are not white yet, so it's fine.
wait, what?
Nothing. You'll catch it in editing.
Whatever. I have gray hair. Okay, whatever.
No, I said my jawline.
Oh, agreed. Yeah, you're always. I actually just had a thing. And ironically, it once again it ties in with the story that I will eventually get to. But this is what happens. By the way, I need to explain this, okay? And I mentioned it, I think, in the previous Paul and all. I don't really remember. I recorded it very quickly. I was by myself, and I just really wanted to get an episode up, and I didn't really care what I said. But you know, I've been talking with a few people about how like certain episodes of the Lost with Friends show, it goes where it's like a 4 hour, like the first episode you and I did, it was a 4 hour conversation, and I cut it down to like less than 2 hours. And there was one that I just recorded the other day. It was I just recorded it 2 episodes as one, and the first episode was myself, Esteban, and Kevin Zane, and the second episode was just Kevin Zane and I, and it's like a 4-hour something chunk of time that I just recorded the whole thing. And everybody's like, how do you talk for 4 hours with some of these people? And I said, it's pretty simple, because when you start talking with your friends, you go off topic. And I honestly, some of them, I've directed them towards the Animal Farts and Gilmore Girls episode, because it honestly took us pretty much until part 2 to actually talk about Gilmore Girls.
Yeah, it's true. And this episode will probably be similar. And that's fine.
Probably.
Because we're creating content.
Yes. Hashtag content.
Oh, God.
Hashtag Tasty Cake Outlaws, hashtag Wookie is the Papa, hashtag Does It Fart,
Hashtag John Locke is actually Hermione Granger.
Yes, John Locke is my Hermione. Yeah, all these things. Content. Clock shelves content.
Sorry,
okay.
The cat's doing something weird.
Okay. Again, like I said, for anyone listening to this, because you know as well as I do, Megan, these I tend not to really edit at all. I just, let the conversation flow, as evidenced by the ending to part 1 of Animal Farts and the beginning of part 2, where I'm like, okay, let's just stop. And then all of a sudden I'm like, okay, we're back. And you're like, I didn't even get a chance to breathe.
It's true.
That was the edit that I made, was I cut the episode right there. But okay, wait, so where was I? So we had to build
the
displays and...
point. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Silence, what? You have to talk.
Sorry. Oh, God. People are coming. They're wearing big wigs. And
yes,
yeah.
I'm looking, I'm like, they're wearing big wigs. What? No, the bosses are coming. Yes. Okay, so we had to be cleaning and stuff, and we have like a hand vac shop, I don't know what they call it, but so in our shopping center there's a Lowe's as well, and we go over there and we get paint and stuff and whatever, and the store manager says, okay, because we had the vacuum and the filter from it has been gone for the last few days and nobody's went and got a new one. So we had to go back to like caveman style cleaning, like with paper towels and things. So I got tasked with going over to Lowe's. Anyone who knows me, okay, knows that I am not a handyman nor a handy man. I am not, okay? Like, I am like the last person you would ever think to find in like a Lowe's or a Home Depot or something like that, okay? So I get tasked with going over there, and honestly, it was only because the other guy who actually works in my department as well, he wasn't there yet that day, but we wanted the vacuum cleaner. So, the boss was like, okay, go, store manager, okay, go and get this. And he gives me a little like a chip of something. He goes, and I need a thing of paint that looks like this. It's going on wood.
Very specific.
Yeah. And he goes, it's going on wood, but I don't need, he goes, when you get it, it won't have like this black in it. Because, sometimes when that fake wood painting color comes in and it has like, it's not real black, but it's like faint or fake black to make it look like paint. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Okay. So he goes, he goes, when you get it, it probably won't have the black in it. I'm like, okay. So I go over there and, trek across the parking lot, and I'm just like talking to myself the entire time. And I'm just like, there was something funny happened on the visual, by the way, for those of you who...
No, I was trying to look above the thing.
No, that was fine, but, anyway.
Sorry.
So I'm trekking across the parking lot, going to Lowe's, and I'm talking to myself the entire time, as I tend to do, because I talk a lot. And I'm like, why are they sending me over there? Like, I don't do this kind of stuff. I'm like, I hope I'm not over there for too long and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just talking to myself. So I get over there, and by the way, terrible customer service. As someone who works in customer service, I feel I know what it should be. We don't always live up to what our company wants us to do, but holy bejesus was that terrible customer service over at Lowe's. Wow. You sound like you have a similar experience.
No, I think I get the opposite. because I'm blonde and female and I look
Right.
lost just by existing.
Hey there,
And
little lady. You get
so,
one of those? You ever get those?
do you know what a hammer is? Do you need help? Do you need help, honey?
I'm
That's the
tall. I
that
have
one
a
is the
beard.
one.
Maybe they thought I was like, this guy knows what he's doing.
He's
No, not at
obviously a
all.
lumberjack.
Yeah. um, But so, I get over there and I ask somebody, I'm like, okay, so I'm looking for like a vacuum, like a hand vac, and I need like wood this, or paint this color for wood. The guy goes, okay, it's going to be down there. And he's like, vacuums are there and things are there. And then he just turns and walks away. Like, he didn't even finish really, I mean, he told me, didn't even finish the breath, and I turned around and he was gone. It was like a ghost or something.
Ooh,
Lowe's ghost.
I
Hashtag
like that.
Lowe's ghost.
That's our new sitcom, The
Actually,
Ghosts of Lowe's.
you need to bring that up in a little bit, by the way.
Yes, sir.
Because that, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's see. Okay, so I'm there and I'm looking at the vacuums, and there's literally one hand vacuum cleaner, shop vac, whatever it is, one there. And it looks similar enough to the one that we already have that doesn't have the filter back at the store. I'm going, okay, but it says that it's like for pets and things, and it has like, like the little swirly brush on it, and you're a pet person. Anyone who listens to this, maybe you know, maybe you don't care. I'm gonna continue with my story. So, I realized afterwards I got
You're
kind of
on it
sidetracked.
today.
I realized afterwards I got kind of sidetracked because as much as it is you and I talking, it's also me just telling the story in general. So, I'm looking and I go right on the other side of the aisle. There's guys in Lowe's shirts, and I'm like, okay, I'll ask them. I'm like, because I didn't see when we got the one that we had, so I don't remember it being a pet related thing, but it was the only hand vacuum they had over there. So I go over and I'm like, do you guys have any of I'm like, I don't know. I said to the guy flat out, I'm like, I don't know if it's your department or not. Because I know, again, working in retail, I know how that is when something isn't your department and you're just like, you know?
Ask that guy.
Yeah. Um, but I'm like, I'm not even sure if this is your department, but, can you tell me if you have any more? And he goes, oh, that's going to be the people in appliances. You can find them about 2 aisles over. I went looking through about 5 aisles and didn't find a single other employee. So I finally got to like where the kitchen sinks and stuff are. And I'm like, and they're just talking. And I literally walked up, and they have like, because they have like a table where they sit with their little computers and whatever. And I walk up and I kind of put the vacuum down. And I'm just standing there because even though like I'm the customer and like I'm always right because I'm the customer, blah, blah, blah. I hate interrupting people except you, Megan. I hate interrupting people. Like when they're involved in a conversation, I will just, even if they're doing something, you can ask my boss when he's in the middle of like putting product out or whatever, like I'll just walk up and I'll just stand there and wait for someone to acknowledge me as opposed to just like, I'm here now, pay attention. Like, I'm not like that. That's you, you're like
That
that.
I always stand there awkwardly. Like actually, we were at a concert I think a week ago, and Mike was talking to one of the photographers, and I literally stood there for 5 minutes, and they never saw me. And then I was just like, okay, I'll just buy him a drink. I don't care, because I was going to ask him if he wanted a drink, and I realized I was just standing there wasting time that I could be wasting in line getting him a drink anyway.
Right.
Which ended with him double fisting drinks because then he got a drink after I left, and I was like, I was standing right there, and he was like, really? So that's how unassuming and quiet I am.
Yeah.
So,
unless someone actually knows you.
oh, sorry. So did they actually acknowledge your existence?
They finally did. They finished, like they were in the middle of the conversation and then they're talking and whatever. And then they finally look at me and they're like, can we help you? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'm looking for a vacuum like this and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, well, that's going to be, I'm like, I know where they are. I was just over there. Like, I was getting a little perturbed at this point. There's your $10 word of the day, people. Perturbed. I was, Megan's counting on her fingers. How much would that word be worth? I don't know. I said that yesterday when I used the word behooves. $10 word of the day.
Ooh.
Yeah, said it to my cousins. So yeah,
You know what?
Go ahead.
Sometimes the vacuum cleaner also behooves,
Ha,
cause you get it.
behoovers. Ha.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm supposed to be the one with the lame jokes here.
Sorry.
For those of you who didn't see that, her head was turned because I think she keeps hearing noise from the cat or something, but she
Yeah.
just turned back and gave me like that sassy lady thing of like, sorry. And like I thought she was gonna Z snap there for a second. I really
It's
did.
gonna happen.
Because she gave me the head bob and everything. But okay, so then they're like, I'm like, because we have, and I said, I'm like, we have one that looks like this. I'm like, I work over it, you know. That's I'm gonna have to edit
Just
that.
insert one of my coughs in there. It's
Yeah,
fine.
I'm gonna have to edit that. Wow, can't believe I just said it. I've been
Oh,
so good
yeah.
with that too.
No, no, this has to be the episode.
No,
The
this
one.
is gonna be the episode, but like now they're gonna hear me, and then they're gonna hear the cough,
Nope.
and then they're gonna hear you
You
going,
bleep it.
"Oh,
Bleep it.
I'm gonna have to."
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe I said it.
Your face is red.
I know. It's
Sorry.
it's as red as the shirt that I was wearing because our work shirts are red, okay, and that kind of plays into my story. So they're like, I'm like I work over there, and I mentioned it. I'm not gonna mention it again, and I'm gonna try not to. And so I'm, going, okay, I work over there. I'm like, we have one that's like this, but it's not the same. Like, do you have anything else? I'm like, this is the only one over there. And they're like, if we had it, it'd be over there. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, after that point, I went back, I looked one more time, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. This is what I'm getting. If it's not right, it's not right. Send over a, handier man to come get something. So, so then I'm like, okay, so now I need to get the paint. And I'm looking, and he told me the specific brand of paint. He said, it's going on wood and whatever. So I'm looking up and down the paint aisles. And at this point, I'm like, I've probably been over here way too long. So then I'm standing, and as I'm walking through the place, people are coming up to me. Excuse me, do you know where this is? And I'm like, I don't work here. And they're like, oh, sorry, because I still had my name tag on and my red shirt and everything, because I just walked right over from my store. And finally, this little old couple goes, excuse me, do you know? They're like, do you work here? Do you know where this is? And I'm like, no, I don't work here. And they're like, oh, well, you have a red shirt. Because apparently no one can wear red shirts if you're not an employee at a specific place that requires red shirts.
You should probably avoid the Target too.
There's no Target near where I work, though,
Oh, okay.
luckily. So
I forgot about the bucolic existence you lead. $10 word.
there you go, because I don't know that one.
Ooh, look it up.
I can't look it up now. I'm in the middle of a story. It's already taken so long.
My plan is working.
So then I'm looking up and down in the paint, and I can't find it. And then finally I see there's like that little kiosk or whatever where the guy can, help you out with paint and whatever. So I finally go up, and I'm like, he thought that I worked there too, because at the one point he goes, the customer really should be asking for this themselves. And I'm like, no, I work, and I said it, but I'm not going to say it again.
Over
I
there.
work, yeah, over there. And he looks and he goes, oh, you're a guy from over there, right? And he, of course, said the name, and I'm like, yeah. And he goes, you should have had insert name of store manager, which I won't. Come over and get it. Because I remembered midway through talking with this guy, he used to work at my store. Jerk. That's all I'm going to say. Jerk guy. I could use many more descriptive words, but I won't. But a jerk. And he does not get along with my store manager. So that's why he's like, oh, you should have had him come over himself. And he's looking at it, and he goes, I can't even take a picture of this to make this color. He's like, with how the black is in there. And I'm like, that stupid black in this little sample thing? Oh, I'd rue the day of that black in that sample thing. So I don't know, Megan. Sometimes I just say these things. And it worked because it got a laugh. So he's like, he goes, you got to just pick a color out yourself. And again, very bad customer service. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm looking through the particular brand that I needed to get. And then I finally went up to the thing and I'm like, okay. And I go to he's helping other people. And he's honestly, because he's a jerk, he's kind of giving them attitude as well, And like, from my understanding, if you're not sure, you're supposed to be able to ask these people, oh, I'm redoing this, or oh, I need, like at the one point there was somebody in front of me in line who was like, oh, I'm painting on wood, would I need primer first or whatever? And he's like, yeah, if you're painting on anything, you need primer. Like, as if this person should just know this. If you don't know, that's why you ask. That's what I do. If I don't know, I tend to ask. Most of the time I tend to ask Google, but I do tend to ask someone or something. But this guy just gave an attitude or whatever. And I finally it's my turn in line and I'm like, do you think this looks close enough? Because, he works there. He should be, quote unquote, a professional. Ha ha ha. So, he's like, yeah. He's like, this is what you want? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then he's like, okay, do you want it, like, glossed? And, like, he's asking me all these things. And I'm like, and of course Megan can see my face right now. And I'm just like, I'm perplexed. And I'm like, And then, like, he mimics the face back at me. Like, as if, like, in a mocking way. And I'm like, I honestly don't know, dude. I'm like, clearly I don't know what I'm doing, And he's like, well, what are you going to be using them for? And I told him, and he goes, all right, well, I'll give it to you. He goes, because you're probably going to be cleaning them a lot, right? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, all right, yeah, I'll give you, like this or whatever. I don't know what it was because I didn't really care. So I have the vacuum that I'm not 100% sure on. I have the paint that I'm not 100% sure if it matches. I'm like, all right, you know what? I need to get out of here. So I go back over, and I went to the service desk because they had given me petty cash to go, so I had to give them the change. I went to the service desk at my store, and I said, can you please page him up here, him being the store manager? Because I did not want to do anything until I got the approval from him that what I got was the right stuff. Turns out the vacuum was the right thing because...
Yes!
It has different, like, interchangeable suckers or whatever on the end. I don't know.
Sounds like an alien.
You know what I'm talking about, like the end pieces. It has different ones. So by the time I finally opened the box, when I went to charge it up, I went, this is the one that I was looking for, because there was one in the box, which is the one that we always use. They don't advertise that on the box, though.
Well, that would make too much sense.
Exactly. And he's like, yeah, the paint is close enough. And I told him, I'm like, there was a guy over there, and he named the guy, and I'm like, yep, that was him. He goes, used to work in this section? I said, yep. And he goes, yeah. And you could tell he wanted to say some mean things about him too, but he didn't. Held his tongue better than I did, because I was using words left and right, let me tell you.
$10 ones.
Yeah. Yes. Hashtag $10 words. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna have to listen through this, and I have to listen through anyway because I have to go edit out that other part. But I'm gonna be listening through this, and if I can remember, in the description of the YouTube video, I'm gonna have to put in all of these hashtags just like I did with the other one. So now I just keep creating all these ones, and I'm like, Urgh!
This is your own fault.
It's my own fault. What is that? Hoist. I don't know how that. I always say it wrong. Hoist by my own petard or something like that. You know how that phrase goes?
I don't know.
You know the phrase I'm talking? No? Okay.
I know what a petard is.
I think I always say hoisted by my own petard, but then that's not grammatically correct. Whatever. Somebody look it up, tell me about it, because,
And leave it in the comments.
Yeah, leave it in the comments. That's what I always say. I'm always like, I just recorded a podcast last night where I'm like, tell me I'm wrong, leave it in the comments. But yeah, so, $10 words I was throwing around about this guy and whatever. So then I'm back to doing my own stuff. And before I had to go over to that store, because I think I name checked it. I don't really care about that one. I don't work there. I was teaching a new guy in my department. So, like, that was what a lot of my day consisted of yesterday as well, was teaching this new guy, how to do things at our store and whatever. So I'm trying to get them the proper PPE, personal protective equipment, for when we do garbage and cardboard and all that kind of stuff. And I get called up to the manager's office at the one point because I had asked the assistant store manager if we had the gloves and the goggles and everything, and he's like, "Oh, they're in this room that's locked right now because there's a meeting going on." I said, "Okay." So then he calls me up front. This is weird part number 2, and this is where I messaged you and I said, "You would not believe what just happened to me," because like all the stuff from the hardware store, like that was weird. Don't get me wrong. That was all like, that was a nice little adventure in itself. But this is the part where I specifically mentioned or messaged you yesterday, Megan, and said, "You will not believe what just happened to me," because as I'm walking up towards the front, this young guy, clean cut look, nicer beard than I'll ever want to have, like thin though. So you know what I mean? Like very like styled, like, you know what I mean? Like cut like at particular right angles and stuff, like, and very smooth looking young gentleman walks up to me and he just kind of snaps his fingers and he does like that cool guy thing where like when he snaps he produces a business card. Do you know what Megan's jaw has dropped right now? Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't know, but you've seen that like on TV and stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did one of those. He's just like, "Business card." And he goes, "Here you go, sir." Because he's like, excuse me. And I'm like, of course, he's a guest, customer. That's what we call our customers, guest. He was a guest. So I, knowing what good customer service is, was like, "Yes, hello, how may I help you?" Or whatever. So then he just snaps and does the, magician business card thing. And he goes, something, I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something along the lines of, "Here you go, man, barber shop, give you the best haircut you'll ever have." He goes, "We'll make you look good." And I turn as he's walking away and I'm thinking, like, I was a little offended. I'm not going to lie, because I looked at him and I'm like, do I not look good now? I was a little offended by that, because then he's like motioning to his beard and he puts like one hand on the beard, one hand on the hair, and he's just like, "Dude, he goes, we'll clean you up good, we'll make you look nice." And I'm like, half of me is like, I think it's funny that this guy is just like not because I would never be able to do that, like, but he's just like not afraid because he's he wants to get his business out there or whatever. Good for him. But part of me is just like, dude, like that's not the way to say that to somebody. Like that seems
you looking
mean.
Scruffy here,
Yeah.
buddy.
And I'm just because I looked at him, I'm like, and I said to him flat out, I'm like, "Do I not look good now?" He goes, no, because like I think I caught him off guard, but he's like, no, you do. He's like, "We'll just make you look better." And I'm like, no.
For all them
Granted.
snappy, cool magic tricks with his business card, he sure fit the big one there. Like, oh, let me backpedal and tell you, yes, you do look good.
Right.
However,
Now, to be fair, when I went to talk to some of the other guys later, he gave them all the business cards, and they're a lot, they have like the, the nice, clean cut hair, and, most of them don't really have facial hair. Some of them can't grow facial hair, but, they don't necessarily have the facial hair. And he said the same thing to them, like, "Oh, we'll make you look good." But I'm just like, and they were all near each other when he's like, went, snap, business card, saying this to them. So like they overheard, they're like, "Oh, okay, this is nothing strange." But I was alone, and I wasn't really alone because there was like other people, but I was alone. And he's just like, "Yeah, dude, we'll make you look good." And I did. I'm just like, do I not look good now? That was a little like offensive to me. And I'm not one, I don't really believe in like, "I'm offended, blah blah blah." I hate that.
how dare you?
Yeah. But it caught me off guard. And so then that's when I messaged you and I'm like, "You will not believe what's going on today." And then I will give you the trifecta, and this is the end of my day, because I came home and my mother was doing something at the downstairs at the restaurant that I live above. And so I went to, she had some family and some close friends and things like that for her business. And I went to grab one of my cousins. Anyone who listens to the Lost with Friends podcast, it's Missy Bowers. She was on the episode right before Megan and Mike and Jake and I think it was right before we did the massive group chat. She was on one of the episodes. So I grabbed her and was like, because I had messaged her the other day and said, I'm in desperate need of someone to come on the show. Will you please be on? And I knew she was going to be around, so I came up to grab her to be on the show. First guest, by the way, on that show. I know I say it there, so it's going to take the joy out of it a little bit. But first in studio guest that I've had on the show, because everybody else it's been let's talk over Skype or let's talk over Facebook, and I keep saying studio. It's my dining room, but first in studio guest on
Don't
that
tell
show.
them that. Don't tell them how the sausage is made.
That's true. I would not want to know how sausage is made. Don't
It's
anyone
gross.
tell me.
It's gross.
I have an idea. But so she's here, and she had her son and her nephew with her. They were supposed to be downstairs at the thing that my mom was doing, and while we were in the middle of trying to get set up to record, they come in. And we were like, you can be here, but you have to be quiet. And I'm pretty sure at the beginning of the episode, you can kind of hear them whispering in the background. Because they're young. They don't know how... They're not quite sure on age. They have to be... They're not even teenagers yet. So, they're young. You know what I mean? So they don't really know how to whisper. Because at one point, they said something and they whispered really loud. So I whispered loudly across the room at them, going yes, that does happen, or something like that. I don't know. So we're in the middle of recording, and then they're like, okay, well, we're gonna go back downstairs. Okay, fine. So I call my mother and I'm like, okay, the boys are coming back downstairs, and I'm on the phone with her, and she's like, a minute or two had passed, and she said that they hadn't showed up yet. Uh-oh. So then, of course, rightfully so, Missy starts freaking out. I start freaking out. I am in a t-shirt, pajama pants, and socks. She's of course dressed because she was out, whatever. I was at home. And, I'm sorry, in the studio. And Megan's giving me the thumbs up. I kind of ran downstairs, and they're looking and they're yelling in the parking lot for the boys and whatever. And I go downstairs and I'm looking, and I'm like, you know what? Let's just see. I go in the men's bathroom, and there they are, washing hands and whatever. And I start flipping out, and I'm like, guys, and I yell back really quick, I found them, and then I'm telling them, you guys, you came downstairs, and you said you were coming downstairs, and you should have checked in. And of course they're like, how do you check in at a restaurant? And I'm like, this isn't funny, and I posted it as my Facebook status last night. I honestly, and I don't remember who it was, but I was talking with someone a few weeks ago, and they told me they just couldn't see me. Actually, now that I'm saying it for the fifth time, I remember who said it, but I'm not going to name names. But I remember who said it. But this person said to me oh, I couldn't really see you as a dad, because I'm jokey, and I'm the fun. I try to be jokey and the fun guy, and whatever. And they're like, oh, I can't see you as a dad. And I know that when I've watched my younger cousins and whatever in the past, sometimes when you gotta discipline, and I don't mean
You sounded just like a dad when you said that.
What? What?
Sometimes when you gotta discipline, you gotta discipline.
Yeah, there's times.
And you tell enough jokes. I feel like there's.
Oh yeah, I tell corny dad jokes all the time. I've often joked that if I ever do become a dad, I would have to change it from Bad Joke Monday to Dad Joke Monday. Ah! Describe your state right now, Megan.
Well, I've just been hit with a very large dad joke. And my head was actually forced backward from the impact.
With your mouth agape.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
Awesome. But yeah, so So I did. I kind of went into dad mode, and then Missy and I came back upstairs and we were finishing recording the episode or whatever, and then all of a sudden, my mother and one or two other people come going, are the boys up here? No. And Missy literally goes, don't tell me we're doing this again. Because it was her son and her nephew, and so we went, and I'm like, I yelled to somebody, go check the bathroom. That's where they were the last time. And we, went down there, and that's where they were. And I kind of went off on them again. And I said, this is twice in the span of just a few hours. I said, you can't do this. And they're like, we were just going to the bathroom. And I said, it doesn't matter. I said that, there was adults standing around talking. And they were like, yeah, we didn't want to. I said, no. I said, you look at somebody, you get their attention and go to the bathroom. That's all you have to say. It's not a big thing, but you don't sneak off. You don't, even if you don't think you're sneaking, because that's what they were like, we weren't sneaking. I said, no, you know what I'm saying, and the bathroom door was open. And
are they teenagers?
No, they're younger than teenagers. They're maybe 9, 10.
So they're in the Diary of a Wimpy Kid stage.
I'm not familiar with those books, but
it's
sure.
Essentially they're running their own narrative of victimization.
Okay. But I guess maybe they're like that age or whatever.
They're prepubescent and life is super hard. Oh my God.
But they know everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which kind of doesn't go away as they get into being teenagers.
I have 4 nephews. I know all the stages now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they were like, oh, we weren't sneaking away. And I'm like, no. And like I said, like this time the bathroom door was open and everybody in the family is kind of just standing there. And I looked back and I said, and this was the first time I mentioned it. I said, I don't remember who said it, but a few weeks ago I said, somebody told me they couldn't see me as a dad. I said, ask them, or I said, somebody tell them about what just happened here. Because then even my mother was like, Paul went in full dad mode on the kids. Like, because I mean, yeah, just like everybody else, I was worried, but I also knew, like, sometimes people will be like, oh, we're just so glad you're safe. And yeah, obviously I was glad they were safe, but like, sometimes you got to be like, listen, I have the hand up for those of you who can't see. This is, because I don't like to point at people, so I just shake my entire open palm at them.
That's almost more threatening.
But it's not as rude as pointing. I think pointing is rude. I think that's rude. So as Megan's giving me the double finger guns right now. But yes, so that was the trifecta of my weird Monday day, and I hope that it was worth waiting for the podcast, and because I think it gave me the chance to animate a little bit, especially since you and I, Megan, are doing this on video. Gave me the chance to animate a little bit. I'm currently doing a Ricky Gervais from The Office type dance thing going on. I don't know why, but I also didn't have to try to condense it into several messages, and
that would have taken a while.
Yeah. But yes, so that was my day, and definitely some of the reactions that you were having were definitely worth, because I love to tell a good story, but as soon as I'm like, no, you know what, I need this on the podcast, and if I'm not mistaken, I said something along the lines of, I want your recorded reaction to this.
I want your face.
Yeah. That sounded weird.
Yeah. Like you're gonna wear it later.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I was listening to the typing in the background.
Sorry.
But because clearly I'm not enough to hold Megan's attention. She has to be going and typing a bunch of things in the background.
I'm sorry that you're strict.
She's not even dedicating enough time to you fans. She's typing away in the background, and I guess the bar got lowered from the previous episode. As I said once before, the sequel doesn't always live up. She's giving me She's giving me the disgusted face right now.
Can I speak now?
Speak anytime you want.
Okay. So, listen. It's 4:30 on a Tuesday. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Your schedule this week, sir, made it so I had to type at 4:30 on a Tuesday because it's my job, yo.
Yeah, blame me.
Sorry.
Speaking of your job, if you don't want to talk about it, we could quickly move on because we have other topics of discussion. What I noticed it the other day, but I
What do
didn't
you
want
even
to question.
do?
No. You professionally catfish. I know that.
Yeah, I do.
I noticed it the other
That,
day.
by the way.
Say it again.
I have a funny story about that, by the way.
I wonder if it's the same story that I'm about to ask you about.
Go ahead.
If fans went and followed your cat Gypsy's Instagram, they would have seen something that showed up the other day that I noticed, and I'm like, that's a little strange. And I thought maybe I just wasn't aware of what was going on or whatever. And today, I guess it turns out that it was in your near flu-like state. Something happened. Do you want to tell us about that?
Or... Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Was that the story that you were going to tell, or no?
No, there's a different one that's interesting. Okay. But this one is just as good. So I've been really sick. Like really sick. And the last time I was this sick, I edited a book. Oh. So that's cool, but I don't remember doing it. I remember like not waking up, but realizing that I'd sent the email in my fugue. And $10 words, hashtag.
Yes.
So I sent and I got paid for like, they were like, oh my gosh, you did a great job. Thank you so much. And I got paid for that gig. And I had pneumonia and 103-degree fever. And okay.
So I guess what I would take that to mean is then you have to be like Phoebe on Friends when she got sick and she's just like, I sound sexy when I sing now. And then like she got over being sick and then she's like, I need to get sick again because I needed to work. That needs to be your goal. You just need to be like sick working all the time.
All the time. But it backfired. It backfired because I sick worked and
I disagree. I think it made for an interesting post. More interesting the follow-up post. But
suddenly my cat's Instagram was owned by a man in his late 50s who is promoting a book. So it's about Lyme disease. So I guess you could, relate the pet factor to that. But nobody said anything. No one. I got 30 likes on that photo and no one said a damn word. Like, what are they thinking? What are they thinking? So I needed you to go into dad mode for me and say Meghan.
Supportive.
No, it's called being Meghan is Instagramming with a fever again. Please stop her.
No, see, like I said, I think it worked. You got 30 likes on that photo. Maybe it raised some awareness to people who didn't know anything.
Who have cats.
Right.
Because I'm mostly followed by cats. So, yeah.
It was, and then like I said, I noticed it. I don't think I was one of the people, because I went, when you posted the follow-up to it, I believe it was today, maybe it was yesterday, because I didn't really. It was
yesterday.
Okay, yeah, because I didn't really get on Instagram much, because I had a crazy enough day of my own that I didn't need to get on Instagram to see anything yesterday.
Had the full trifecta yesterday.
Yeah. So, but when I saw it today, and I'm like, okay, that's a humorous follow-up to that. And I went to look, and you didn't keep it. You deleted that post.
No, I immediately deleted it, which is like the cardinal rule that you don't delete anything because people will say, "Oh, she deleted it." Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my thought. I was like, why did she delete it? Like, it makes no sense. I just own up to it. Like, have it. Except for me, earlier in this episode where I censored the name of the company that I work for.
Exactly. So it's that same idea, really. I don't want people associating my cat with Lyme disease,
Okay, I can understand that. Yeah.
or rather, I would like her to stay in her litter box,
I was gonna
haha.
say litter box. I
And
was
I would
there. I
like
was
to
thinking it
have
too.
my job stay in its box, and then they don't intertwine.
Right.
So, yeah, that was pretty funny. And the way I found it in the morning was that I went on to see how many likes the picture had gotten on the actual account, and I was like, where is this picture? I know I posted it. Where is it? So I posted it on the correct account that morning.
Oh, okay.
It's
Still not. Makes for an interesting story, but
Yeah.
now people can't go back. Like now they're gonna be looking and they're gonna be like, well, I can't find this picture.
Good.
This incorrect picture.
Good. That's
Um,
that's my job as a content curator.
so I don't remember when
Ugh.
we officially started talking on the podcast versus when we just started the Skype conversation
It was
because I
around
was
15.
okay because I'm looking at how long we've been video chatting and it's about an hour right now. So I think the tease because I assume we're just gonna keep going, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So I guess the tease that we will leave you with, people, so that we know when to start episode 2, is Megan has been watching a new show. Well, it's not new, but it's a new show to her that I like, and I know for a fact she has at least one other friend who likes this show as well. Um, and I've been getting some humorous messages. Actually, I haven't gotten any in about a day or two.
Haven't
But
been able to watch it.
okay, but so I've been getting some, a few messages about that, which have been hilarious. And then Megan also has a story because I thought we were going to have the same story about your job, your professional catfishing job. So you have to tell us that story when I don't know. I don't necessarily think we want to call it part 2 because there's not like most of this episode was like my thing, and now the next part of the episode is going to be your thing. So I'm not sure. So I guess that'll just be for the whatever it turns out being the next Paul and all. So whenever that happens to go up, you will hear the continuation of this conversation that we are just going to keep recording. So for this episode of Paul and All, as always, I'm your guest, or I'm your host, Paul. In the next episode, I'll feel more like a guest.
No, no.
But I am the host, Paul, the host for most of your shows on the goes. No, because I remember I recorded that and I went, oh man, that's so bad. But it's me, so I had to just leave it as one of my little ending tag things. Some of you may have heard it on one of the various podcasts that I have on the Clock Shelves YouTube channel. So anyway, to end this episode of Paul and All, that was my Manic Monday. These are the days when you wish your bed was already made. I don't know. Prince wrote that song. I dig that song. So I'm your host, Paul.
And I'm your frenetically typing emails during work hours, Megan.
Thank you for listening to this wacky episode, as they tend to be with Megan.
Sorry.
So we will keep talking, and you will hear us at another point. Thank you, and ta-ta.
Ta-ta.
Hey everybody, it's Paul, your host for most of the shows on the goes. Okay, that was terrible. But hopefully that episode you just listened to wasn't. So if you enjoyed it, how about you click that little like button, maybe give us a subscribe, and share it to your friends. Thanks.